The deadline for Season 11 submissions has finally arrived. Therefore, I figured now would be a good time to take a look at almost all of the items created for this season and determine which ones are the most likely to make it into the season. I will rate each item from 1 to 5. If the item gets a 5 out of 5, this means I think it's very likely to make it into the next season. If I give the item a 1 out of 5, this means I highly doubt it will make it into the next season. Now keep in mind, I'm only rating these items based on how likely they are to make it into the season, not based on how much I like them. So if I give something a 1 out of 5, this doesn't mean I hate it. Also, by the way, I put time codes in the description below so you can skip ahead to any section you prefer. Anyways, let's get started. First, we're going to take a look at the furniture submitted for this season. First up, by Grimme, we have the Baybrick Battle Set. This is pretty cool. This brings back memories of when my friends would talk about Beyblades all the time. Now, I'd say this one's a 3 out of 5. I think it has a pretty good chance of being added. Then by Dr. Radium, we have the Rubik's Couch. I'm honestly going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I think this has a pretty good chance of being added, as it's a really unique idea and it's a very recognizable item. Up next by Wifiax, we have the Collector's Comic. Now honestly, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5. I don't really see this one being added. It's not really fitting into the toys slash collectibles theme. It's technically a collectible since it's a comic, but I think by a collectible they mean more like collectible toys. Also, it's more blocky in terms of its art style, so I don't think the devs would want to add this item. Again by Wifiax, we have the Jailbreak action figures. It has a pretty decent chance of being added. I'd say 3 out of 5. Then by No Cartoonist, we have the Jailbreak map model table. I think this one is also a 3 out of 5. There's an okay chance that this might get added, but it has a lot of detail in it that a lot of other apartment decorations don't have, so it would kind of be out of place, and I don't know if the devs would want to add it. Again by No Cartoonist, we have the model cars display. This is a great idea for a furniture item. It really fits the theme well, and honestly it has a really good chance of being added, so I'll give it a 3.5. I'm not 100% sold on it being added, but it does have a pretty good chance. Then by Benjamites, we have the biplane model. This is pretty good. I'd say it has a 3 out of 5. Then by Doggo McDingo, we have the dollhouse furniture item. This is also a great idea for the season theme, and I think it has a pretty decent chance of being added. I'd say this one is a 3 out of 5. Again by Doggo McDingo, we have the dart turret. Now this is pretty cool. I'd love if they add this as an operational turret, but I'm not fully sure they would do this because we haven't had a new turret since the apartment update back in April 2021. So I'm not fully sold on them adding this one. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I'm not fully sold on it being added, but I'm not ruling it out. Then by Icleon, we have the trading card game. I'd say this is a 3 out of 5. Again by Icleon, we have the rare figure furniture submission. I'd say this one's a 2 out of 5. I can't really see this one being added. It doesn't have much support, and it's just not that exciting of a apartment decoration, so I can't really see this one being added. Then by Mr. SSR, we have the Micro Breaks toy track. This is also pretty cool. I think this one's a 3.5 out of 5. I think this has a pretty good chance of being added. Then by Zuo Tsu, we have the Get 'em arcade machine. I'd say this one's a 2 out of 5. This fits more with like a retro season or a gaming season, not a toy slash collectible season. Again by Zuo Tsu, we have the retro gamer set. Like her previous submission, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5 for the same reasons. It fits more with the gaming season than a toy season. Again by Zuo Tsu, we have the Blahaj. I'd say this is a 2.5. I'm not totally ruling this out, but I don't have high confidence it will be added. Then we have the Twisted Board Challenge. I don't know, this one's not really a toy, so I'll give it a 2 out of 5. I can't really see this one being added. Then, again by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the Claw Machine. This is pretty good. I'd say it's a 3 out of 5. Then for our last furniture submission, we have the Rocking Horse Chair from Speed Queen. This one's pretty good. It's simple, but it would be a decent enough apartment decoration. so I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Next, let's take a look at the spoilers submitted for this season. First up, from Doggo McDingo, we have the Clown Mallet spoiler. These are pretty good, I'd say they're a 3 out of 5. Then by Benjamites, we have the Lincoln Log spoiler. I think this one is a 2 out of 5. I really can't see this one being added. It's just pretty simple and you can't really customize it at all. Then by Benjamites, we have the RC Antenna spoiler. Now, this spoiler I think is a 5 out of 5. It's a brilliant idea and it has a ton of support, 547 upvotes, and it just fits the theme perfectly and it will look good on pretty much any vehicle. Again by Benjamites, we have the battery pack spoiler. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. It's a pretty good idea. It's just a little bit too blocky, especially the batteries. Then by Denold6, we have the Lego spoiler. This is pretty good. I'd say it's a 3 out of 5. Then by Denold, we have the minigun bubble machine. I'm honestly mixed on this one. I'm not fully sure it will be added. It has a bubble animation, as you can see over here, so that makes it kind of appealing. But the thing is, the actual design of the spoiler, it doesn't really look like a bubble machine, and the turrets don't turn, so you know what, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Again by Blinkstar, we have the Bowling Strike spoiler. I'm gonna give this one a 1 out of 5. I really don't see this one being added. It just looks kind of weird as a spoiler. You probably won't be able to customize it at all. And also, it doesn't really fit the toys slash collectibles theme. This is a game, not a toy. So I don't have high confidence in this being added. Then by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the Key spoiler. I think this one's a 4.5 out of 5. I think this has a really high likelihood of being added. It's a brilliant concept and cars will just look so good when they're driving and this is spinning. But the thing holding it back is the turning animation itself. I don't know if the devs would want to code that in. So that's the only thing holding it back. But otherwise, I think this has a really good chance. Then by Speed Queen, we have the water gun spoiler. I think this one is a 2 out of 5. I think if the water guns were turned around and they had a water gun animation, I think this might have been a 4 out of 5. But the way that they are right now, I just don't see the devs adding this when there are so many other spoilers that I think they would want to add more. Then for our last spoiler submission, we have the jetpack spoiler from Speed Queen. This is also a really good idea for a spoiler, but I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for a couple of reasons. First off, it might look weird on some vehicles and it might not translate very well. Also, it's clearly based off of Buzz Lightyear's jetpack and you do not want to mess with Disney when it comes to copyright, so I don't think this has a very high likelihood of being added. Next, let's take a look at the rims submitted for this season. First, by Silent Polarization, we have the Rubik's Cube rims. These rims are pretty good, but honestly, I'm not really sure how likely they are to be added, just because number one, you can't really customize them, and also, they just look kind of weird on cars as a rim, and they would look weird when the car is driving, so I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I'm not fully sure that this will be added. Then by Dr. Radium, we have the Toy Car rims. Now this rim, I'm giving a 4 out of 5. I think it has a really good chance of being added. As you can see here, the car is driving around in a loop, so it would be doing the same thing when you're actually driving the vehicle. It's a brilliant idea for a rim, and it looks very good on Dr. Radium's part. The only thing holding this back is that it doesn't look like you can change the color of this, so that may pull its chances down a little bit. That's why I give it a 4 out of 5. If you could change the color, I would have given it a 5 out of 5, but not changing the color is a pretty big setback. Again by Dr. Radium, we have the 8-ball rim. I think this one is a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a really good idea for a rim. There is customization potential here. As you can see, you can change the color of it here. And overall, it's just a really good idea executed pretty well. Then by Denold, we have the Lelo rim. This is based on a Lego Technic piece. Now, I think this one's a 4 out of 5. It's a really good idea for a rim. It looks really good on a lot of vehicles, even if you take them out of the toy slash collectible theme. This is just a very good looking rim in particular. Then by Doggo McDingo, we have the Digipet rims. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. It looks very good. Doggo did a good job designing it, but it's a pretty deep cut reference. Like, I don't know what the Tamagotchi is, really. If you know, please tell me in the comments. And also it has a lot of detail for just a rim, so I don't have high confidence in this. Up next, by Doggo McDingo, we have the teddy bear rims. I'd say this is a 3 out of 5. Then by Speed Queen, we have the Poppet rims. I think this one's a 3.5 out of 5. This has a higher chance than normal, but I'm not fully sure they're gonna add this one. Then by Hoo Hoo Kawa, we have the Traps rims. I think this one's also a 4 out of 5. I think there's a really good chance these ones get added as well. They're based on the iconic Hot Wheels rims, and I think they would be really recognizable in-game. They look good on a lot of customizations. Then by Shadow Samurai, we have the Collector's Coin. What's interesting about this one is that it has two unique sides. So the front wheels can have one design and the back wheels can have a different design. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. I'm not sure they'll add this one because number one, it's not really based on toys. It's based more on like collectible coins, and that's not really what the devs are going for this season. Also, the new mechanic where it looks different on the front and the back, I don't know if the devs would want to go through the effort of coding that in. Then by my boy Die Was Taken, we have the brick rims. I think this one is a 3 out of 5. It's a really good idea for a rim, but unfortunately it only has 89 upvotes, not that much support. And I think there's some other ones that have some precedence over this that the devs would want to add more. And finally, from Die Was Taken, we have the brick tires. Now, I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 5. I don't see them adding this. The reason is that when they ask for tires, they're only asking for tire decals. They're not asking for like actual tires. So they don't really have a mechanic to support this yet. Don't get me wrong, this item looks awesome and I would love if they added this, but I highly doubt they will. Now I'm going to take a look at the textures submitted for this season. First, by Icleon, we have the worn wooden toy texture. That's a mouthful to say. I think this skin is a 5 out of 5. I think it's highly likely this skin will be added. It just looks so good. Icleon is an amazing creator and this skin is no exception. Then by Benjamites, we have the plasma ball texture. I think this one's a 4 out of 5. It looks awesome, it's so unique. We haven't really had a texture like this with all the different colors in it, and it fits the theme really well, so it has a pretty good chance of being added. Then by PyDev, we have the heat texture. This one is a 1 out of 5, unfortunately. While the skin does look good, it doesn't fit the toy or collectible theme at all. Again, by PyDev, we have the toy racer vehicle texture. I think this one's a 2 out of 5. I don't see this one being added because it just looks kind of basic. It's just two lines over the car, so I think there's a lot of skins the devs would rather add over this. Then from Faker Gensh, we have the teddy bear vehicle skin. I'd say this one's a 3.5 out of 5. It has a lot of good detail in it, and it's definitely a really interesting skin, so I think this has a pretty good chance. Then for our last texture, we have the Blahaj vehicle skin, also by Faker Gensh. I think this skin is a 2 out of 5. I can't really see this one being added just because it's so simple and so basic, and it doesn't immediately scream toy theme to me, so I can't see the devs adding this one. Now we're going to take a look at most of the vehicles submitted for this season. First up by Grimme, we have the Roar and Soar. Now this one gets a 1 out of 5 from me because this is more suitable for a classic season, not for a toy season. Then by Victory 32323, we have the Valkyron. This is basically a brick belt jet. This one also gets a 1 out of 5 from me because it's a jet, and if it were picked as a seasonal vehicle, the stats would absolutely suck, so everybody would hate it, and the devs will not add it. Again by Victory, we have the Kaliak Rugaru, also a 1 out of 5 from me. Like I said for Grimme's submission, this is more suitable for a classic season, not for a toy season. Then by Pendomes, we have the Jabberjaw. This vehicle is absolutely insane. Just look at how awesome it is. This vehicle would really stand out if it was added in the game. Unfortunately, the main thing holding this vehicle back is the insane amount of faces and triangles it has. Basically, this vehicle would make the game really laggy if it was added. Therefore, I'm giving a 1 out of 5, unfortunately. I really wish this vehicle could have been added, but the game just can't support it. Then by Benjamites, we have the Bumpersaurus Rex. I'd say this one is a 2 out of 5. I think it has a higher chance of being added because it has less faces, but it still has a lot of triangles in it, and I think those also cause lag. Again, by Benjamites, we have the Brawn. I think this one is a 3 out of 5. Then by Doggo McDingo, we have the Berserker. This vehicle is pretty cool. I'd say it's a 3.5. I think this has a slightly higher chance. Again, by Doggo McDingo, we have the Daredevil. I'd say this one's a 3 out of 5. Then by Rally Subby, we have the Quadrocopter. Okay, so I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. It doesn't the toy season really at all. I know it's meant to be based off of a drone, which is considered a toy, but this one you actually ride on. This would be more suitable for a futuristic season. Then by Icleon, we have the Mistral. This was submitted a year ago. This one also gets a 1 out of 5 from me because it doesn't really fit the toy theme. Again by Icleon, we got the Lizzie. Another 1 out of 5 because it doesn't fit into the toy / collect. Yes, I know you say it's part of your collection or whatever, but that's not what they meant when they said toys and collectibles, I don't think. Then by It's Truminator, we have the Kitty. I'd say this one's a 2 out of 5 because while it does technically fit the theme, it's just not that exciting of a vehicle and it probably wouldn't have great stats. Therefore, not many people would be motivated to play the season to get it, and the devs want to pick a vehicle that is exciting. Then by Shadow Samurai, we have the X720 Overdrive. This vehicle is so cool. This car gets a 4.5 out of 5, and here you can see the vehicle it's based on. It looks absolutely fantastic. It perfectly blends the supercar with the toy theme, so I think if they added this, many people would want to get it. And then from Mr. SSR, we have the Rod Line. This car gets a 4.5 out of 5. Then by Zero to Sue, we have the Bubble Top. I think this one's a 3.5 out of 5. Then by Happy Hongo, we have the Grasshopper. I think this vehicle is a 4 out of 5. It has a lot of cool detail in it and it fits the toy theme really well. The main thing holding it back though is the high amount of triangles. Then by Sharky Cat, we have the Technica. I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 5 because Sharky Cat already had a submission added a few months ago in Season 8 with the Celsior. Then by Pendomes, we have the Jailbreak Badcc. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. Then by Speed Queen, we have the Controller. Now, this vehicle gets a 5 out of 5. I think this is incredibly likely to get added. It fits the theme perfectly, it looks awesome, and it has so much support, over 1,000 upvotes. For our last Season 11 submission, we have the Toy Brick Cube. Now, this item doesn't just get a 5 out of 5. This gets a 10 out of 5. This item transcends all of Jailbreak Creations. This is practically guaranteed to be added in the next season. Trust me. That's going to conclude my discussion of almost everything submitted for Season 11. What did you think? Which prizes were your favorite? Do you agree or disagree with any of my ratings? Make sure to tell me in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more Jailbreak videos in the future. Also consider joining my Roblox group and following me on Twitter and Discord if you're over 13. All of these are linked below in the description. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.